Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading A Katsuki Studio by Little Sponge Pecs on Tumblr, so let's get into it. Didn't you hear? Apparently they broke up. No, you think Katsuki will finally make a move now? Dunno, but it can't hurt to try. His heart was in his throat as he knocked on your dorm room door. Once he'd heard about the breakup, he couldn't help but feel elated, euphoric even. Like he had taken a hit of ecstasy. His skin was tingling, and his veins were thrumming with the knowledge that you were no longer with that good-for-nothing loser. You had spent the better part of your third year at UA with that asshole, wasting your time with a guy that could never appreciate the gift you were giving him. He didn't deserve you, didn't deserve your smiles and laughter, didn't deserve the way you looked at him, like young the stars in the sky, didn't deserve your soft touches and sweet kisses. When Katsuki at first heard you were dating that prick, his heart had constricted, black tendrils of regret and hate and resentment, wrapping the pulsing muscle in darkness, squeezing the life out of it slowly each day. He saw you with him, agonizing over that fact that someone else had gotten there. Before I had realized what he was truly feeling, he was not weak. He was jealous. He could admit to that. Jealousy was an emotion he could deal with. He had felt it before over the years, like seeing his classmates succeed, where he couldn't. But he never let it get him down. He overcame these little bouts, worked harder, until that little green monster had faded into nothingness. When he had finally beat the jealousy down was his success, and surpassed them, surpassed everyone. And the same applied to you. Whenever I saw you, hand in hand with him. Yes, he could deal with jealousy. But the heartache? Unlike the festering feeling of jealousy, the constant struggle of heartache, and the strangle of it in his heart, was way, way worse. There was no stopping it. Each day, those tendrils only got tighter and tighter, making him realize that his heart was just as fragile as anyone else's, susceptible to the agony that he had always denied he would ever feel. Perhaps it would have faded if he could just forget you, but you couldn't. You were always there, whether it be volunteering to do chores around the dorms with him, cooking, cleaning, and the like, or helping him to their Kirishima and Kaminari, Ashido and Saro, because he refused to be friends with idiots who had trouble spelling their own names, or even asking him in that pleading tone that never failed to have him wrapped around your finger when he needed his help to train for an exam. See? You had this way about you that made him feel like he should be the one begging, like he should be on his knees, entreating you for just one silver of your time. He never did, however. He knew you would drop everything if he had just asked. The thing was, though, he never needed to. He always knew. Even when he tried to push you away, you would stay and needle him until he gave in. Because he was your friend. Katsuki cringed at that word. He had tried to warn you away from him, like a good friend should, but you had not listened. And just like you had forced your company and friendship on him, you are also forcing him to watch you flaunt your relationship with someone else. He couldn't stand it. Every minute was torture, choking his heart, until it was hardly beating in his chest anymore. He wanted to be a friend, just as much as he didn't. Friendship meant there was a boundary that could not be crossed. Certain things that he was not allowed to do with you that other guy could. There was no hand holding for him, no wrapping his arm around your waist as you walked to class together. No you sitting on his lap in the common room while watching a movie. No sneaking off during lunch to kiss behind the gym. Now, there was a chance. The feeling of hope resurfaced as he knocked again, and as soon as he saw your downcast face through a thin crack, he felt guilty at feeling elated, because his happiness meant your despair. Your voice broke on his name. Katsuki, he stuttered, and you for grief-stricken stop at the end. He cursed and mentally killed himself for letting himself feel that way, when you'd obviously be hurting over this. He was in your room, shutting the door closed and pulling you into a crushing hug before you could protest. It was dark inside. Only a silver of light peeking through the drawn curtains allowed him to see that the place was a mess. There were screwed up dishes everywhere. Your uniform was discarded across the floor. Your school bag looked like it had been thrown on your desk, its contents spilling out. Pens, books, papers, and even cosmetics like lip gloss and nail polish, which is what had become unscrewed and was slowly dripping clear liquid on the desk's surface, picking you up effortlessly. Katsuki put you in your bed and pulled the covers up to tuck you in. You looked pathetic, an adjective he never thought he would have to describe you with. Bloodshot eyes with smudges of mascara below, blotchy cheeks and a runny nose, and puffy lips that looked like you had been chewing on them for hours. It was a million miles away from the girl he had seen so happy and carefree just that morning. No matter how awful you looked, he thought you looked beautiful anyway. Sleep, he commanded, before turning and rolling up his sleeves. Don't go, you cried, shooting an arm out of the tight cocoon he had wrapped you in, and grabbing his forearm. He looked back over his shoulder. This place needs cleaning. Please, I'll do it later, you begged, tugging him back to you. And with that look you gave him, he knew he would do whatever you asked. Stay here, he sighed, knowing you'd just end up cleaning later anyway, and dropped his knees beside your bed. Scooting closer, you glided your hand down his arm and past his wrist to wrap your stomach fingers around his, pulling them close to your chest, causing him to lean over the edge. Neither of you spoke. You just looked at one another until your eyelids became too heavy, and you eventually closed them. His heart was beating out of sync. He could feel those dark tendrils tighten again and loosen all at once, his heart thumping in his chest at the knowledge that he was the one who could put you at ease, even if it was just for a little while. For now, he would continue to be your friend, because that's what he needed him to be. So Katsuki watched with his chin resting on his crossed forearm as you slowly fell asleep, your breathing evening out and your eyes drying, until he too drifted off beside you, his hand encased in yours.